Good morning. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters. I'm Deplorable Knitter. It's the lovely Ann Pinkova. And right off the top, I'm going to throw out the disclaimer. It was me today. I know I usually blame Ann, but I'm going to take full responsibility. I was late. So, hey, good morning.
Actually, it worked out. I was late, but you were more late.
Right. But I usually will wholeheartedly be like, yeah, Ann was late today. So I just felt like upfront I should say it. So, hey, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Before we get into it, we are sponsored by Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. She has gorgeous yarns. We gave away Mountain Bluebird last month, which Ann has the lovely winner of. But look at that yarn. Who doesn't want to win that, right?
It is so pretty. And it comes in a lot of bases with or without the mini skein, but you want the mini skein.
I mean, the mini skein makes it. Not that her yarn isn't gorgeous, but I mean, that's just a pair.
It's lovely in itself, but great together. Anyways, Mountain Bluebird, get it on her variety of bases. And the winner, and I'm going to have some hard time pronouncing this because, you know, it's a username that's all one word. So MEMC, I think it, MEE.
Like the letters MEMC?
No, EMMYEMMCEE.
Okay.
So you are the winner. Congratulations. Please email us at politicallyincorrectknitters@gmail.com. I can get this sent to you. It's so beautiful. Congratulations. For everyone else, I believe it is still available on our shop. And this month's promo code for 20% off your order of $50 or more is PIK Nugget.
Yes. Right here, PIK Nugget. Yay. So if you want to order your own, and you can use that for 20% off of your order of $50 or more.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget. But that's only 2 skeins of yarn. So, I mean,
yeah.
Either you can do like 2 single skeins, a pair to make something bigger. I mean, there's so many options.
You can buy a sweater's worth. Go big or go home. That's always a good thing. Oh, and this was last month's giveaway, but this month's giveaway is this beautiful green for March. Tweet us on Facebook is the colorway. It is very rich. It is deep. It is beautiful. This is on the Sarima sock base, the 80 superwash merino 20 nylon. And and happy March, everyone. Happy St. David's Day to our Welsh viewers. We see you and we appreciate you.
Okay. Do we have Welsh viewers?
I don't think so, but we're trying to grow it here. Kind of like, as far as I know, last season of Bake Off was the only time that they've ever had a Welsh winner. Normally they get kind of close-ish and get chopped at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's okay, Wales. We know you're there.
Yeah.
We see you.
I don't watch British Bake Off, so I don't know any of this, but I'm glad you're informing me. It's always good to be, you know.
The Welsh and their completely incomprehensible language, but they're great. They're very good at singing.
They are really great.
Anyways, but yes, check out Chicken Ladies. She has beautiful yarns, great variegated, great semi-solids. Don't sleep on it. PIK Nugget. You just saw it. 20% off your order of $50 or more. That was it.
That is it. And this thing that's streaming on the bottom, that is our new Instagram, which we've been doing very well on. We have 201 followers since last week. So, hey, guys, thanks for seeing us and getting us going over there. I should have posted that we were going live, but it went off the rails this week. So
I posted that we were going live, and then I forgot to tag our new Instagram page.
I tagged it this morning, but it wasn't up as long as yours. And I know I promised last week that the website would be ready, but there was some other snafu that I had to deal with in the middle of this week. So my kids are going away tonight, although I'm going to be busy, but we'll see. We'll see what's up. I'll try to work on it. And it's going to be politicallyincorrectknitters.com. So when that goes live, it's not going to be a surprise because it's us. Hey, we are politically incorrect knitters. So Ooh, before we get going too, I want to say, hey Neil, he's in the comments. Thanks for joining us this morning. His latest issue of Blacked is out, issue 19. I have not had a chance to read it yet, but there's a lovely picture of Miss Ann Pinkava in it. So hey.
Yes.
Yeah, and a pattern from her. And the cover is our friend Tabitha, who is completely covered in yarn, which I think most of us could probably recreate if we want. I don't want to take the stuff out of the bins, but if I did, I could probably.
It was a pretty incredible photo.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
she must have,
Ooh, Christine, 202. Cheers.
Hey. But yeah, must have had help piling it on top first and getting that right. But it was a very cool photo.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Sparrow Cowl and Beanie and Mitts are out, and it's a good issue. I was able to flip through it yesterday to go, haha, where am I? But
most fun, yeah.
As you do. But no, lots of cool stuff about stash and stash busting and what's going on.
Tara says that she could do that photo herself and probably fit her teens in the pile too. I'm sure that, yeah, a lot of us could fairly accurately recreate it. That's okay. I'm gonna have to read it about stash busting. Do you want to talk about knitting now?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, knitting is the thing that we do here on this knitting show.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, on occasion. I've been knitting more, which is fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Sparrow Cowl is out. Very excited for everyone to get on that. But so I've been working again on this blanket. And I've run into slight snag.
Oh no. Is this the math thing again? Because you made my brain hurt the last time we talked about this.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna just stare off into the corner while she tells you guys about the math problem.
Right. Well, okay, so the math problem is, all right, so this blanket is made from the lovely Lynn of Chicken Lady Fiber Arts, her Wizard of Oz advent calendar. So it is 12 mini skeins and one large skein being the over the rainbow, which I have in the center. Okay, so each skein, each skein I have found can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And for the last square, I actually had to sub most of the squares. I could make it the whole round, but for the last one, I did need a couple yards of something else. So I was just the slightest bit off. Anyways, okay, by the math of this, so if I use 4 other colors out of 12, so I can do this 3 times. So I have to figure it out. 3 times 7 being 21 does not make an even square. Bringing that down by 3 doesn't. So I'm going to have to do 20 and then just either make a square that will forever be lonely, or on the other hand, just make 20 squares and have a little bit of leftover yarn. So yeah, that's my thing.
I mean, I understand wanting to use up the whole thing, but in that situation, I'd say just keep the leftovers and call it a day. Like, why make it hard?
I mean, that is basically what I'm going to have to do. I also have to finish out the pattern or figure out the pattern, because I'm making the squares all exactly the same instead of doing like a scrappy thing. So I'm going to have to figure out, because hang on. So this fat stack here is all of the ones. So
are you keeping this for yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought at first we thought it was going to be small, but it's not, is it?
It's going to be bigger than I think it is. But
okay.
So if it is by 20, I mean, it's not going to be huge. If you think 4 of these by 5.
Yeah, but at first, I know when you started it, there was like I think it'll be a cute baby blanket or something. But now seeing it and seeing how many squares you have, it's not.
Yeah, well, it's going to be
like a couch throw or something.
Yeah, not a full-size blanket,
yeah.
But
okay, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to have to figure out my pattern of that. and yeah, get to working on my next bunch. So it's gonna be fun.
Yes, it is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out how to share. Well, you were talking about the math because Anne and I already had this math conversation a different day, but hearing it again, I think that 20 is the answer.
I think 20 is the answer.
Keep the leftovers. There's so many scrappy things you can do. Like, it's not a big deal.
Also, yeah, when I had spoken to you last, I was worried that I had not gotten to the rest of the square. So I was worried that every single one I was going to be short by a little bit, which is
that wasn't the case.
That wasn't the case, luckily. Because it is a pain in the butt to do color matching, and I don't want to get out the Sharpies every time. So
for those of you who are new here, there was a situation where she ran out on her like bind off, and there's like a yard of something else that she just colored with a Sharpie, and nobody will ever know unless. The thing I tell my knitting students all the time is that if somebody is looking at your project that closely, they need a friend. Maybe you can be that friend, because otherwise it's obvious that they don't have much going on in their life. I sound so mean. No, but it's true. Like, for real. If somebody's looking at you that close, we got problems. So move along.
Yeah, but so yeah, I've been working on that. I also I'll put all those to the side. But yeah, I've also been working on this granny square thingy. So lots of blankets. I should be going back to my sweaters, but
yeah. Anne likes blankets. Anne likes cozy things. I also enjoy cozy things, but I have the attention span of a fruit fly. So I just doesn't always work out for me.
But yeah, I am really surprised at how far that yarn is going. I mean, half of it is just like opal white yarn, to match with the nice hand dyed. But yeah, it's really going.
That's nice. I'm trying to do something. So you've worked on your blanket, because Anne's favorite is her blanket, and then
that's true. Pattern can also be found in Blocked magazine.
Oh yeah, that was a few issues ago though. Do we know which issue? Probably not.
I want to say 14 or 15, but I don't actually know.
That sounds accurate. I'm with you. And then okay.
Yeah. And I didn't even say with the sparrow cowl, the picture that I have. So we took that picture the same day that I did the picture for the calendar. So that's, how long my pattern has about to come out. But it's outside the Corn Palace. Okay. The Corn Palace is a terrible tourist spot, and terrible and also fantastic. So one of the photos is me with like this cartoon corn man, and I'm taking a picture next to it. But yeah.
Cartoon corn. What is happening, Anne?
It's the Corn Palace. Okay, so it was also really funny because...
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this right now.
Oh, hey, there's your hat.
Okay, I got it. I was just trying to figure out how to get it on stage. I apologize, friends.
Sure.
So the Corn Palace, yes.
The Corn Palace. So it was the time... so the Corn Palace has the outside, and they do a mural of corn every year with different colors of dried corn cobs. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's cheesy. But like last year's was famous South Dakotans, and they have the banner at the front of the Corn Palace to tell you what the theme is, because you don't know any of these famous South Dakotans. But the next year that they hadn't put up what the theme was, but they had taken down the old and started it. So this year's theme was obviously famous places around the world, because on one side they had a half-done Sydney Opera House, and on the other side they had the statue of Jesus from Rio. So it just said famous South Dakotans with the statue of Jesus. I'm like, I don't think he's from here. I don't. I
think you can claim him though, because isn't he from everywhere? Really, he's for all of us.
In a wider sense, yes. In a very specific sense, no. No.
I need to see the Corn Palace once in my life. I don't know. I keep telling my husband we have to go visit you. So Okay. So I apologize for the random picture of my hat. I'm going to put it back up now, though, because there's a little story about this. So this is my hat. I made it. It's a pattern that I'm going to write. Sorry about the Christmas tablecloth. So this hat is the one I gave to the 90-year-old man that I cleaned for. Mm-hmm. And he still has his Christmas stuff out because he's 90. And if he wants to leave Christmas out all year because he doesn't want to take it down, good for him, right? Like, you know.
Also, I love the tablecloth.
I know it's great, but it is March now, so. But he still has his tree up too, which is terrifying because everything this man owns costs more than my entire life, and so like I'm vacuuming, and he's got this vacuum with this big long tube on it, and I'm trying to be like so careful because I'm sure that if anything got broken on that tree, like I could never pay him back. So like, and I tend to be a little bit klutzy, so it's kind of funny that I do what I do. But so that I gave him that hat. I'm sorry?
I was about to say, I think Adam works for our tourist department.
Is that something that they've used?
It is. It is. Every bad pun in the book.
Yeah. I'm sure that they figured out all of the corn puns. So I gave the hat to the old man yesterday, Thursday. He's so nice. And I said, I made this for you. I like to knit. I meant to give it to you closer to Christmas, but here we are. Because it's me, and anybody who's watched this for any length of time knows that that's how I roll. I have great intentions and they don't work out. So I gave him the hat. It was lovely. I was in his kitchen scrubbing his cabinets because that's something I do periodically because people's cabinets get messy, and you got to throw that in there. So he comes up and he crochets, and a long time ago he asked me like, oh, hey, have you ever done broomstick lace? And I'm like, no, I've seen it. It's very lovely. I just haven't done it. And so in the middle of cleaning, I had to take off my gloves and sit down so that I could learn how to make broomstick lace from the man I cleaned for.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool? So it's so fun. It's not as hard as it's awkward because you got to put it on a big knitting needle, and then you're crocheting off the knitting needle, and when you're crocheting, you're not usually holding something over here. It's a little weird. I couldn't tension my yarn and stuff because I didn't have enough hands. I needed that third one, and I didn't have it. So but yeah, so I learned how to do broomstick lace while I was in the middle of cleaning the house the other day. And as a side note, I've started getting more clients that are elderly people, and it's so much fun. Like, I worked for a family that had a rental, and they were constantly ungrateful. They were constantly like if I missed something, obviously I should be told, but like I would drop everything because they would forget to tell me that they had a new renter coming, and I would go and clean, and they would like not pay me for 2 weeks. So you know what I mean? So after working for them and then working for these elderly people who can't do it themselves and are so happy to have somebody come in, like I have a couple rentals that I clean that I like. The owners are great and I really enjoy them, but I think I'm going to go more towards like helping people because it's just so much nicer. It's a lot of fun. I mean, where else can I learn how to do broomstick lace in the middle of scrubbing cabinets? So and he gave me this yarn too, so now I have to finish this because I told him I would. So but that's my story about that. It was fun. And then I have been knitting. I am making this hat. This is called Cloves Entwined, and it's by Tiff Nealon. And I mostly wanted to do this pattern because I've tried to do this. It's got a name, but this lateral braid, that's what it's called. And I hadn't done it well. And I'm not going to show you where it joins because it doesn't look pretty. I'm going to clean that up in post-production. I'm going to get a yarn and kind of make it look better. But it's a lot of fun. I had a scrap of mohair from Sweet Mountain Crafts. I'm sorry?
I was about to say, I really love the little rainbow stripes that are in there.
Yeah. I wouldn't have necessarily put these colors together, but they were picked out. And it is cute. It is turning out really nice. But I had this mohair from Sweet Mountain Crafts, and it's great, and it lasts forever. I've done like 4 projects with this stuff, so that's fun. And then I'm using this other yarn from A Whimsical Wood, and I don't remember the name of it, but I remember it had something to do with resting bitch face because that's why I picked it. It was like, I'm sorry, this is just my face or something. Like that was the name of it, and I couldn't resist it because it was too funny. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's what I've been working on. I got that. Nice. I've been working on crocheting dishcloths and things at school, like just regular. I'm back in the school thing, so I've been kind of busy, but it's fun.
It's good.
Yeah.
Hey, and Dreaming Tabitha is here. She has an art channel. I met her in Orlando. She's super
cool.
nice. I might have to have her on Knitting Wars sometime.
Oh, fun. Very cool. What kind of art is it like?
She draws, well, mostly she does it digitally, but I mean, else normally. I saw a live stream she did recently where it was like a fantasy world, sloths with turtle shells, and it was very cute.
Cool. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, because Anne met all kinds of cool people in Orlando.
I did. It was a great time.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we've done the fun part.
Oh, I think the more fun part, because we're on to news, and it was a week.
So because Anne's got a lot to say about a lot of things, but I just want to put out there that after our last show, my very, very favorite Dan Bongino was tapped to be deputy director of the FBI. And we're very excited for him. And we're also very, very sad. I don't know why I'm talking about myself in the third person like I'm the queen, but
we are very sad. And I'm like, I don't listen to Dan Bongino. Good for you, though, or bad for you, whichever.
Oh, she draws, paints, and crochets and tap dances poorly. Well, I think we can all probably say we tap dance pretty poorly. Although it sounds like you've maybe been attempting to not be poor at it, but whatever.
I'm sure if we had a tap dance off, she would come out far ahead.
I can't even imagine. I mean, I took tap when I was like 8, but that was like,
see, and you would come out ahead of me further still.
Oh my gosh, how fun. Okay.
I went to a swing dancing class once and they were all like, honey,
it's not for you.
Well, I had fun, but was I talented? No. No. Anyways, sorry, continue. Dan Bongino.
No. So yeah, Dan Bongino. If you guys don't know who he is, he has been a political commentator for like 10 years. But before that, he was a Secret Service agent on the presidential detail. He did training of Secret Service agents. He was an NYPD officer. So I started listening to him intensely after the assassination attempt because I wanted to hear his take as a former agent. And one thing he says all the time about the Secret Service specifically is that they use yesterday's technology tomorrow. So they're always behind. They don't know what they're doing. And so like, as much as I enjoy, like his commentary is just always spot on. Like, I just really enjoy listening to him, but I'm pretty excited to see what he's going to do because he does have that aspect of being out of it for a while. And so that's going to be fun. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like all up against him. Like, oh, he's a political commentator. How can he be in this? People can divorce themselves from the things that are, I can go to a job and be perfectly pleasant to somebody who's a Democrat and they're like, oh, it's going to color his view. And no, because he's a person who understands that his politics don't have anything to do with the job. The job is the job. If you're an FBI agent and you suck at being an FBI agent, you're not going to be one anymore. It's not going to matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican or what. So that's
and also, literally anybody can be a political commentator. Look at the guy's past resume.
We're political commentators. That does not qualify us to be FBI agents. That's okay. We understand that.
That is true. If we were tapped to be FBI agents, they'd be like, what?
So, thank you. 1 second.
Okay. Well, she's getting it from all sides.
No, sorry. The kids are getting ready to go to Grandma and Grandpa's house. Apparently, one child is doing something they're not supposed to, and so I had to get tattled at. I apologize, friends. I have dealt with it.
It happens.
Well, I normally I'm like, don't tattle, but apparently one kid is trying to pack every stuffed animal they own, which is like 120. So that's not going to fly. We don't need to take that many at Grandma and Grandpa's house. So, sorry. Yeah, Texas Sheep Lady says Dan Bongino was on the Obama protection detail. That's part of why he that's part of why he left, because it got too much. But he loved the job. I bet we could survive without the FBI and CIA. Yeah, there's a lot of things that need change. And
I mean, I would be very happy if Kash Patel was the last guy for the job. But
that's probably not going to happen, though. Like, let's be real. So at least if we can clean it up and get it better. And speaking of the FBI, we didn't talk when you and I were talking about what we were going to say beforehand. We didn't mention the Epstein list.
We did not, because the Epstein list so far has been a big old nothing burger. Really embarrassing nothing burger.
But, I mean, last I heard, Pam Bondi was like compelling the New York field office to send the stuff.
No, and I hope
I hope this gets taken care of. I mean, isn't that why we have cash in there? Isn't that why we did what we did?
Yes, very true. And this is very naturally, the Epstein list is going to be something that is going to be blocked at every side, every time, the whole way down. And, how many paper shredders have gone off. And also, what is the Epstein list about? And what is the Diddy list about? All right, it is much better for the FBI if they have blackmail on people and that those people are still useful to blackmail. People aren't very useful to blackmail if they're in jail. Right. So it is in certain people's interests for such a list to be kept silent. And then maybe, they'll shoot a hostage and say, oh, well, this person's name or that person's name is involved. We do have a general sense of who is involved. And we also have, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was thrown in jail for trafficking girls to who knows who.
Yeah, that's the thing. Bongino, either Bongino or Walsh was talking about that, like the biggest pimp in history that has no clients. Like, what is this? It's crazy.
Right. And I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff about Epstein that has come out already. About
Maybe, I'm not
this.
Sure.
Okay, with the Maxwell case and everything, that the with when they're talking about what went on at that island, but without reference of anyone who is there is still a lot of very damning stuff. The type of girls who were recruited, those girls, doing weird, like they would, like cut each other for the pleasure of viewers. And yeah, really creepy, messed up stuff. And then these girls, now women, on the stand be like, yeah, but we were all together, so I would like go out shopping with this girl afterwards. So it was like the weird social dynamics of the creep island. So there was a lot of very dark stuff, but also that story, we want to know who's on the Epstein list. We want to know all these things, but also, what happened there and what was told in public was not a well-covered story at all. It was, even the details we did know, people were oddly uninterested in, and you would think that would be, more interesting than, Love Island or any other little drama thing.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, the way that nobody wants to talk about it tells you everything you need to know. I don't know. Lots of demonic mental illnesses. Yeah. Tom Hinky Pinky. Yeah. I'm sorry. My kids are making me crazy. I will be right back.
All right. Well, I don't know how much else wants to say.
I'm sorry.
Right, there you go.
It's like I've never done this before, not have been doing it for 5 years. Almost 5 years.
Did you see, I think it was Lady Gaga who said she's still going to do a song with Diddy. It's like, read the room, honey.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, I guess they're all still buds.
Yeah, I think that the whole they keep it for blackmail and stuff is a very valid issue or thing. Like,
yeah.
Okay. So anyway, we didn't mean to talk about that. I just thought about it while we were chatting. So
definitely. And I don't because okay, the little like, yeah, we're gonna trot out some conservative influencers, yay, and they're gonna hold folders which are nothing, yay, and then they're gonna do a little dance because we're really getting something done. Really sad.
Yeah, they also can't tap dance, as was evident from what they got.
Black guys help the white guys. What's going on there?
Lady Gaga makes me believe that the reptile people are real. I don't. Okay, I'm gonna go off on a thing. It has nothing to do with anything. My husband likes to watch all the alien stuff, and there was something on about how the reason that the government is covering up the alien thing is because they're using us to keep their species going by like harvesting, I don't know, eggs and sperm from us or something. I wasn't really paying attention, but holy moly. So, might have been Eisenhower's granddaughter who was like, oh yeah, he made a thing with the aliens, a treaty. And I'm like, my husband's going, look, it's his granddaughter saying it. And I'm like, she might be crazy. I mean, that's a possibility. I don't know.
Just maybe she might not be all there.
Sorry. So I unsubscribed from 4 podcasters in the last weeks due to their whining about world events and how stressed they are. You know, I'm so sick of everybody being like, oh, in this time we have to be like self-care. Dude, this time of what? Winning? Why is it so wonderful?
I know, even when we lose, we win. It's great. Even when we're like, I'm really ticked about this whole Epstein file thing. It's like, but generally, still doing pretty good.
Yeah. And I honestly feel like the people that are in charge are going to get to the bottom of it. Yes, there are holdouts that are blocking the way and stuff, but I think at least some of it is going to come out. Maybe not the whole thing. There may be reasons the whole thing can't come out, but I think we're going to know something at some point. I think that the people that are implicated are working really hard behind the scenes to keep it quiet. And people are used to having money and influence and power. And so not being able to hold that over Trump and Vance is a new issue. Kind of like Zelensky learned yesterday. I mean, right?
All right.
Coming to the US and being like, hey, I need $1 bajillion. And we're like, oh, hey, would you like us to mail that to you in like a check? Or do you want like it in weapons? Or how are we going to do this?
We do pallets of cash. We do. We'll wrap it up real nice.
Yeah.
And send it on our own plane. Yeah. There is a precedent there for potbelly dictators to send them cash. So it works great.
Yeah.
I'm sure he qualifies under the system.
So, I didn't watch the whole interview, and did take the time to watch the entire thing, which is pretty cool.
I did. It was very interesting to watch the entire thing, because okay, press conference starts. Trump starts talking. Vance is looking right at Zelensky, and Zelensky is not making eye contact, and that's from the beginning of this conversation. And also, okay, so before I had watched the whole thing, I had just seen little clips on Twitter. I didn't get the full thing yet. I just saw a couple jokes and a couple of clips. Okay, they're out of 45 minutes. Okay, Zelensky, he's pushing the bill, but for the first 30 minutes of that, the Trump team is incredibly nice. Everybody's very cool. It's Trump at the top of the room with Zelensky. You have the Ukrainian ambassador to America who had her, she knew how bad this was going. But yeah, it was Vance, and then Rubio was there, and he was pretty funny. At the bottom of there was a little circle where the people were talking. At the bottom, with his back to the press, was Hegseth, who was looking pretty serious the
Mm-hmm.
whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was very good. But no, Zelensky starts out, and it's the our people are dying, this is happening, Russia is evil, and here's the photos of the children they steal. But no, it wasn't the children, this is just the adults, because I'll show only in private the photos of the children, because it's too much, and going on and on about this. And Trump is very sympathetic. He's like, yes, we need the killing to stop, we need to do this, and it keeps going. And also, he keeps upping the thing of how evil Russia is, and then Trump is all like, "Hey, we're trying to negotiate here. You can't be doing that." Um, but yes, the suit line. Okay, the suit line didn't come from Trump. The suit line came from one of the reporters saying, "Why don't you wear a suit?" People are like, "Oh, well, that's a bit petty. After all, Elon doesn't wear a suit." Yeah, Zelensky, when Trump was president the first time, wore a suit to meet Trump.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And nobody knew who he was, he wore a suit. Okay, the little getup he has now is complete theater. Complete theater that he is, and that's what he said. He's like, "Oh, well, maybe after the war I'll wear a suit." And he tried to make a joke of it that didn't really land. But it is a complete outfit that he is so serious that he has to dispense with things like suits. He is on the front lines. He is not on the front lines. He's not on the front
Oh,
lines at all. And also, Mr. Too Serious to Wear a Suit takes a photo op with every two-bit senator and celebrity and anyone else in town. His wife does Vogue photo shoots with sandbags, all right, to show how
mhm.
serious she is when they're spending money like it's free, because it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Oh, well, we have to take him seriously because he's exactly cosplaying as a military leader." It's like, no, we have to take him so seriously. And when Vance starts in like, "Yeah, so you're conscripting guys for your front lines," like, "Oh yes, well, everyone has problems." Like, yeah, you have
Yeah.
big problems, buddy.
Well, okay. So I have thoughts about this, right? So I really liked Vance being like, "Yeah, I haven't gone on your propaganda tour because I've seen what you do." Like
Yeah.
calling it straight out, it's perfection. And some people were like, "Oh, Vance shouldn't have. He was out of line," and I don't think he was out of line. I think him and Trump are on the same page. And honestly, I think Trump is letting him say some of these things so we can see him in action, because really the point of picking a vice president is maybe next time he'll be president. And so him being strong and showing what's going on is fantastic. But I do have one thing to say about the whole conversation. I watched the interview with Zelensky on Brett Baer after, a couple hours later he was on Fox News. And a couple of times during the conversation, he had to stop and look to his translator for instruction about what he was being asked, right? And so I do, like, I know he was an asshole, and I everything was totally fine the way it went, but I do wonder if he did not understand some of the things that were going on because of that. Do you know what I mean?
It's possible. But man, I love Vance.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
honestly, because all right, that they mentioned a little bit when Keir Starmer came in, it was nice and pretty the whole time. And there was a question about Starmer during the Zelensky thing. And it was like, "Hey, Keir Starmer says, oh, sure, we're doing free speech," and we're not. And it was mentioned in there that it's Vance that took Starmer to task. Absolutely. And it was very interesting, the dynamic between Trump and Vance, that you could see that Trump is like, "We're negotiating here. We're going to keep it calm." And Vance is like, "Actually, screw this guy." And Trump's like, "You're right. Actually, you're right."
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Kat says, "I think he was briefed by the Democrats that Trump was evil." I think so too. I mean, he did
Well,
go
yeah,
campaign for them, so that's a
he
thing.
did campaign for them. There is there is a little bit of a rumor that, all right, so right now in Europe, okay, the liberal media, like our liberal media, except, spread out throughout the countries, okay, their freak out, their Trump derangement thing right now is that Putin is going to not only take Ukraine, but he's going to sweep across all of Europe and he's going to take all of Europe. Like he needs those problems. But, Putin's a jerk, but I don't think he genuinely plans to take over the rest of Europe. But that is the media narrative, that Trump is so evil and he's going to align with Putin, is what they're saying, or Trump is going to abandon Europe to be destroyed. All right, that is the general sentiment. So Zelensky, everything he said played into that European media narrative. Okay, that it was the whole like, well, you have a ocean between you, but you will soon feel.
And Trump's like, oh, no, we're not.
Like, you're not, yeah. Trump's whole thing of, you're not going to tell us how we're going to feel. We may feel very differently. It was very true, but also that is the posture. Okay, this week also, Miss Krista Freeland, who is the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, their VP, she's nutty.
She is nuts. Like, and they're like, oh yeah, she might be the next one. And I'm like, oh shit, like for reals, yo?
Well, Mark Stein said that he met her years ago and never would, she was just some gal in media. Never would he ever have said that she would be in any serious government role, but she is one of Karl Schwab's girls, so maybe that would, or Klaus Schwab, I'm sorry.
Don't know. Interesting.
I don't know.
We can just research,
Right. But she said, in case you haven't seen, that Canada is afraid of being invaded by evil Trump in America. So that Europe should join together with her, and also nuclear powers such as England and France. And, to bring...
And Norway.
Norway?
Yeah. Nuclear... Was it Norway that she said, or Denmark? It was one of those countries that
Denmark.
she also
I'm
said,
not sure.
yes, should join.
I'm not sure which
nuclear power.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
my apologies for not knowing which of the Norse powers are nuclear or not.
It was one of those, but in the whole scheme of things, you're like, those are the ones you're picking. I mean, England's been pretty good, but France doesn't really like to do the stuff. I don't really remember hearing a lot about Denmark or Norway being like really kick ass in any of the stuff. I mean, they protect themselves and stuff, but when you think of world leaders, they're not like at the top of your list.
Right. But here's the thing. Canada is like, we're going to talk big and butch. So if we could be a protectorate of anybody else, because apparently our military isn't good enough. So we used to kiss up to America. France, can we kiss up to you now? As if, okay, if we pull out of, exactly.
Sorry.
If we pull out of NATO and everyone's like, oh, Europe is like, yeah, we'll build a European army. What language are you going to speak in this here European army? It's going to be a little difficult to be understood between those troops. Okay, your European army. Okay, who's paying for it? That's a big one. The EU in itself is a failed state. That the entire point of the EU has been said is that, democracy doesn't work and we don't want to have to listen to the peasants. As Vance said, the leaders of Europe are not listening to the people of Europe. The people of Europe don't want that. Okay, some of the people of Europe do. They're Europeans.
Yeah.
But we have that there's like, oh, well, we can just lead from the top and not have any, as Vance said, a mandate from the people. All right. And your non-mandate from the people is going to create an army against the US for what purpose?
Yeah.
All right. So you can stand big and butch against Trump because, again, the Trump derangement thing of Trump is the absolute evil. You can't believe him. He's such an evil, evil dictator. You have that going on. And then, okay, so again, you're going to stand against us. with what army, and what's more, with what money, because we have been paying your bills, and then you start to freak out when we're like, yeah, actually, no.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Canada, did you hear that they very quietly closed all the investigations into the murders at the schools? You know, the Native American schools that were indigenous, whatever the hell they call themselves. I can't think of the name of those schools, but they quietly closed that because, you know, the first time they started investigating it, it turned out to be a septic tank. And so they continued to investigate it for like 4 years with millions of dollars. And yeah, did they ever find a body? They never found one. And a conservative person who's a lawyer was supporting somebody else who was like, hey, nothing was ever found. And they were like, you have to take this down. Like, a place that will not admit that they are wrong about accusing a Christian, a group of people about genocide, you can't trust them. Cannot trust them as far as you can throw them. And
No,
it's terrifying.
Christine says residential schools is.
Thank you. That was the word. I could not grasp it right then.
No, totally. So this is the residential schools. Right? So you have all this in Canada, and then no bodies are found. What was it? It was something like 14 churches were burned and vandalized. Yep.
I mean, you and I talked about this in the beginning, and we were like, I don't know that it was genocide. I mean, if there are bodies at the school, could it be because of sickness or you know,
right.
Things happen when people live in a place, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that that, you know, if you have an old-fashioned boarding school, things were always nice and above board. That's not what I'm saying. But not saying that the point they're saying like this was to genocide children. That was not the point. There was no, as Adam says, there's no mass graves. That wasn't the issue. That was not what happened there at all. And it was painted in post to be this huge evil thing that did not happen.
Mm-hmm. And the part about all of these things that gets me the most is that it's proven false and people still choose to believe it. And then it makes it really difficult to be like, you're wrong. Like, I don't understand how they can be like, oh, well, you don't know that. Well, I do know that because no bodies were found. So how can you continue to say that this happened? Maybe the residential schools were bad, but at the time they were doing the thing that they knew, right?
Well, it's kind of
necessarily make people do that now, though. I think that there should be some sort of, I'm not saying that people should go into residential schools, but perhaps if you're coming to a country or the argument is that we came to their country, but either way, like, you should know the customs and the things, and you should assimilate. Can't be used for residential schools, but you get what I'm saying. Like, here in the US, we could totally use some sort of class to be like, hey, this is what you do in the US. Because we're not, oh, hey, in the UK, we don't just go around raping 13-year-olds. Sorry.
It's amazing.
That's something we should learn.
It's the old line of, I wish I remember the name of the guy, but in India where they're like, I'm sorry, it's the custom to burn widows with their husbands when the husband dies. And he's like, that's great. In England, we have a custom that we kill anyone who murders a woman. So you buy your custom, I buy mine. You know, this will keep happening as long as you keep killing people. So that's the deal. And that stopped real quick.
Kids were given room and board, education, and a better chance for life. Better than a reservation. I know people, because I live in New York, and I don't know if all states have reservations. That might be a dumb question. I don't know. But I know that the reservations here are not fantastic. I mean, they're great for going to get cheap cigarettes and gas. But other than that, like, I don't know that there's a lot of opportunities.
In South Dakota, we had the issue where Miss Christy Nome was not allowed on the reservations. Why? Because she's like, hey, you have a Mexican cartel problem. You think this far north we don't, but we do. And then the reservation said, oh, no, we don't. And you're not allowed here. Stop saying that.
Yeah, go figure. Kat says that
Yeah.
there are not reservations in Ohio. So there you go. I wasn't sure. I didn't think that they were everywhere, but so not every state has them. You have some. You're out in the Midwest. There were lots of Indians out there. I'm sure there's a lot out there. A lot of
we are the land of the Sioux, partially. When they didn't kill everybody else, which happens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
the reservation closest to me is a casino. They're doing fine for themselves. Yeah, ours do too generally. But I'm just saying
but we do have these big media narratives, like the hands up, don't shoot, and it's like he never said that, but everyone says it the whole time. And there was a play done about, I believe that was Michael Brown.
Yes.
There was a play done about it with the police records, and the actors, after they read the script, they were like, oh yeah, I want to be a part of this. After they read the script from the police records, in which he never said hands up, don't shoot, the iconic line, that that they refused to act in it. They're like, oh well, this isn't what we've been told. Yeah, but it's the truth. Like, well, we can't do this isn't what we signed up for.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lacey. This is perfect. The Indians, the Native Americans were done horribly in America. The Trail of Tears is horrific, but that is the way of nation building, and every people have a bloody past. We also have atoned. And exactly. And my point is that, yeah, we built this nation. Probably wasn't pretty, but no offense, the way we're doing things now isn't getting us anywhere. We're not a power anymore. We're not anything because we're so like scared of offending someone that we're like, oh, you can do whatever you want. Oh, those gangs in England, we're not going to investigate them. That's their culture. Excuse me? No. Okay.
And also to come back around to Zelensky, Zelensky seems very shocked that it's suddenly like, hey, when Vance turned around, he's like, have you said thank you once?
Oh, that was a point I wanted to make on Brett Baer. I cannot tell you how many times he said thank you. He never apologized, which Brett was trying to lead him to, but he sure said thank you a whole freaking bunch by the time he was on that show.
Yeah, and then when he was back in England, he said, oh, thank you to America again, which is also funny. Okay, because in European Twitter world, all the world leaders are like, yes, Zelensky, stand strong. They are high on their own supply of propaganda that they've been telling themselves the whole time that Zelensky is this big butch buddy boy and he's really going to stand against Trump. And Trump's line, okay, is like, look, you don't have the cards. It's like, oh, I'm not playing cards. Like, you're
gambling with people's life. Yeah. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, that's exactly what Trump said. You are playing cards. You're playing cards and you're, like I said, gambling against people's lives. I am. Tara says they're also high on coke. Yeah. Would not disagree. I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to find, because Trump put out a statement afterwards, and it was very, very good.
Adam says everybody should be thanking Britain and America for their freedom today. I mean, yeah. Anytime that stuff has gone down, who's been in charge? Who's been leading the charge?
Mm-hmm.
Not Zelensky.
But where did it go?
And since you're looking for that, the thing that kills me about the whole Zelensky thing is that him signing the minerals agreement wouldn't have changed his other asks, right? Like the agreement was for minerals. If he is concerned about security, that was like step 2 of the process. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we're going to start working together. This is how we're starting. And then they would have continued to talk to him, right? It's not like it was the end all be all. It was the first step in a process, and he couldn't take it. He was too up on his high horse. So,
right. Sorry, to read the statement from Trump. I found it. All right. That we had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure, which, to pause, was absolutely hilarious, with Trump saying at the end, he's like, well, this is good TV. This is good TV, but it's good that you see this. It's good that you see, what's going on here. Sorry, back to his thing. It's amazing what comes out through emotion, and I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage, I want peace, capitalized. He disrespected the United States of America in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace. Right. And I also think it's hilarious that they had a lunch prepared for him while he was there. And no, he left without lunch and they gave the lunch to the interns. They said, it's all right, guys, you have it. Which is, anyways, literally ate his lunch. But yeah. No, he was ungrateful. He was rude, and the whole time, well, as Vance said, he is pushing he is doing the media thing, but he is doing this in front of the people. He is doing the, oh, don't you care about the suffering? Don't you care about this? Don't you care about that? Putin is so evil. All right. We are trying to negotiate inside voice, outside voice. The Zelensky's only negotiating power is, well, what will the media think of you? Trump is serious about ending the war and actually ending the dying, trying to do things that way. He is the actual compassionate side of it. Trump's like, wow, we need to stop people dying. It's like, oh, but the emotional pressures, you don't care, you're awful, you're horrible. If you don't do everything I say, puppies die. And I'm like, stop shooting the puppies.
So, but this is what Zelensky doesn't get. Trump does not care. He's the most maligned man in the world, and he still won the presidency. He is not going to care if the media's like, oh, Trump's a jerk. That's a Tuesday for him. He does not give a shit. Mm-hmm. He does not care. So the tactics that he probably used with the former White House and things aren't going to work because Trump is not that man at all. And this is a really fabulous comment. He doesn't want his fame or the cash flow to end. He's only thinking of himself. That's it in a nutshell. He likes going around like the big butch guy. I mean, you used to make fun of Macron back in the day when he used to try to do the whole war table thing. Remember we used to talk about that?
He put on, and Macron did a little like, oh, we stand with Zelensky. It's like, okay, so are you going to put on another army green shirt and then put up folding tables in your own gold gilded office? All right. And your actual palace of justice that you have, you are going to put up some cheap plastic folding tables and we're going to ruffle some papers around and then we'll do a real serious face. We're going to do a real serious face for the camera. What are you? Okay, Macron. All right. All right. Can you lay across a tank too to just show me how serious you are? Could you do that for me, please? Could we get a good long look from the president of France, next to some ARs? I think that would really sell what you're trying. What are you doing? What are you even doing?
Can you tell me? I don't know. I've seen several comments about Blockbuster Video.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about Blockbuster? They haven't been around in 20 years.
No, because the Ukrainian flag is yellow and blue. So when people have the Ukrainian flag in their profile picture, other people will be like, yeah, I stand with Blockbuster Video. I think we should.
Okay. I knew it was something that I had missed. So there you go. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to put that comment up, but it's funny. Yeah, I didn't know about Macron's wife until the other day. And I was like, that's a creepy story. Teacher who preyed on a child.
Oh, the teacher thing, totally true. The whole Candace
the other thing,
nonsense. Yeah,
no. But the fact that she was 39 and he was 14 is I have kids that are like almost 12 now, and I can't imagine them getting married to somebody that they currently know who's an adult like me.
Yeah,
creepy,
weird.
Creepy. Okay.
Yep.
So
anyways, France.
We didn't have France on the list today. It just happened.
It's like a whole other planet.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not against age gaps. My mom and my stepdad are 20 years apart. It works for some people, but they also met when they were both adults. Like, I think that's a big difference. Because,
Yeah.
ooh, speaking of age gaps, and this has nothing to do with that kind of news, but Gene Hackman was found dead in his house, and his wife was dead, and so was his dog. And at first, everybody was like, carbon monoxide. I told my husband, I'm like, nah, something went down. I think
Yeah,
that.
but especially since the first report was, he died and found of death. Yes.
Mhm,
Yes, very, very found dead he was. And they're like, of what?
mhm.
And I have heard that like, no, they it was negative for carbon monoxide. Like, what
Well, there's that, and then so then I'm wondering, because I don't want to paint this person I don't know in a bad light. I wonder if he died and then she decided to take her own life too.
And the
Like,
dog?
well, they think that they had been in there for a while, so the dog may have just kicked it from not eating. I don't know. I'm just
I
speculating. Allegedly, speculation. I have no idea, but it's just strange to me. And at first, I'm like, he was 95. Of course, he's dead. And then I was like, wait, there's something weird going on here
yeah.
because you don't find all the people in one house dead. That's weird. Possibly dead since the 19th. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So if it had been that long, if he died and she took her own life, and then or he was sick and then she killed, a murder suicide. I don't know. I'm not saying that she did. I'm just weird. Weird stuff's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a little bit lighter than some of the other things yeah. Isn't it funny that me talking about somebody possibly killing her husband is a little bit lighter than our other stuff?
I don't know. I'm still okay. I'm still Europe. Okay, Europe right now is trying to make a thing that there was a picture like, oh, this is the most important picture of all the Europeans all huddled up. Like, yeah, we're going to do a conference without America. Again, they have no money. They
Right.
have no money. We are propping up. They are funding their endless welfare states because to pay for such things as their security is too low, that you have to have dirty people like the Americans who we hate pay for your stuff. It's like, okay, you're going to form a European. Please do. Please pay your own bills.
Mhm.
All right. You know what? And NATO was formed because of the Soviet Union and that we were in coalition against the Soviet Union. All right. So what does NATO do now? Nothing. It's not important. Why are we here? Why are we playing these games? Why are we doing any of this? Why are we paying for it? Now, I am very in support of, it's like, we should help our European allies. Yeah, Vance's speech, I think, is again, love our boy Vance, is the issue of, hey, Europe, you have some real problems and you should listen to your European voters. You should actually listen to them. You should allow them to speak. You shouldn't ignore the problems. Okay, the problems in Europe are like a cancer, right? They were small, they're getting bigger. You're stage 3 nearing stage 4, and you're not allowing yourself to
You're
talk to it.
scary.
You're not even talking to a doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not even at this. You're like, I might be feeling a little ill, but I'm sure it's nothing. And you're like, honey, get that fixed. Start.
Mhm.
Start.
No,
And
I don't.
there are people in Europe who see the problems, want to fix the problems, everything. But the European governments themselves are so vacuous. They're so ignorant, and they will try to keep all the power.
I don't know. Um, sorry. The whole Europe thing is
Yeah.
something's not working here.
Knit One Pearl too is like, oh, well, it would be so bad if Putin just take them over. Like, I too like to be assassinated when I vote for the opposite side. Yay.
Yeah, I think that that's probably not the answer, although,
Like,
I'm not a
yes, we
wealthy
have
person.
our choice of tin pot dictators. I love it. Fantastic.
It's
Great.
actually like Joe Biden.
I feel like there might be another option, and yet
Money washing machine. There you
it's very,
go.
very true.
Um,
But yeah, they have
well,
been
oh, here. There you go. globalism has poisoned their reasoning ability. And that's why they hate Trump so much. And that's why he is such a bad guy, because he wants America to be great. He does not want us to be great and to be great with all the, like, no, he wants us to be powerful. He wants us to be someone that is someone to be reckoned with. And that's okay.
Right.
That's an okay thing.
And also, it is so totally foreign that it's like, oh, and again, it's like, oh, so France, Germany, England, Norway, Denmark, the rest of them, like, oh, well, America is so evil that we should have our own European army. It's like we completely believe that you're going to act in your own self-interest. In fact, you should act in your own self-interest. And Trump has been saying this from the beginning of his, modern political career, saying that it's like, yeah, we've been getting screwed by Europe. And why shouldn't we be? The money was there. They're looking out for their own interests, so they're going to take the money. But they do not understand the concept of, it's like, all right, so we're going to play as equals now. We're not going to do this really cute thing where we trot out and we say, oh, well, we're such great allies. Oh, we're all such great buddies. And everyone says, yeah, great lunch. It's the weirdness of, oh, well, we don't really like you, but it's a free lunch, so we're going to come to this party. And then Americans will go, you guys, and pay for everything anyways. We're done.
We're not doing it anymore. Thank you. Thanks for the offer. We're going to decline. We're good.
No, actually, we're actually going to at least split the check next time. How about that one? Ooh, no, that's too much. Oh, well, bummer.
Well, we're not taking you out again. Sorry. Yeah. Like, that's just how it's going to be. So, all right. It's been over an hour, and I really have to deal with my children. I apologize, friends. But, sometimes we just have those days. And I guess today is one of them. But thanks for joining us. We're sponsored by Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. She is fabulous and lovely. You can use the code PIK Nugget for 20% off of your order of $50 or more. And comment when this video is done to be entered to win a skein of that lovely green yarn. It's tweet us on Facebook.
Yep.
And yeah. Anything else, Anne?
No, that's it. Winner again is MEMC for the Mountain Bluebird. Again, check out Lynn. Fantastic. Dean says hit thumbs up. Comment on the video once we are done.
And MEMC, email us politicallyincorrectnairs@gmail.com.
Yes.
Look how I got all these things now. I'm getting better at it. It's like I know what I'm doing or something after all these years.
I know. So Tuesday is Knitting Wars.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Be square.
Yeah, should be a good time. So
check out Blocked Issue 19. It's cool.
Yeah, Blocked Issue 19. There's pattern from Anne. There's all kinds of fun stuff. So thanks, friends. We will see you next time. Have a good one.
Bye.